Hello everyone and welcome to Butterfly Dreams Crochet and More. My name is Jeannie and today we're going to do the Scrappy Blanket tutorial for the 2023 calendar crochet along. So what you're going to need, if you're going to do it based on the calendars, you're going to need a calendar of your choice. Now if you have the ones that we chose, perfect. If not, perfect. Use what calendar you want to use. You're going to need a tape measure. If you're a beginner, you'll need a stitch marker. You will need a darning needle to weave in your ends. I recommend that you use a hook bigger than what you're going to use on your blanket to do your chain with. So I'll use my 6.5 for my chain, and I'm going to use a 5.5 for my blanket. Now these are the two calendars. Now I'm going to show you how I choose my colors. This is 2 of the 4. These came in a 2-pack. We got a big one for the butterflies that says blossoms. And we got a big one with the landscape that says landscape. So I'm going to flip these over and show you the picture for January. So how I chose my colors was I looked at the pictures. I see the white. I see the sunflower or mustard color. I see this pretty blue. I see this brown color and this black. And over here I see all this green with blue and white. But if you look real close here, you see purple. And then you see some red in the top of the trees. Now, do you have to choose all those colors? No, you do not. Now, for the big calendar, the blossom calendar that came with this one, it has pictures of hydrangeas on the front of for the picture of January. And it is in lavender and blue, and of course you have green for the leaves. For the landscape, you have this beautiful sea green water at the bottom, and you have this mountainous terrain around that has like some sandy, ashy color. So I chose ecru, I chose brown, and I chose that sea green color. Really, really pretty colors. I've chose colors from each picture. But you don't have to do that. You choose ever how many colors you want to. Now, if you do not want to use a calendar to make this blanket, that's perfectly fine too. You can use whatever colors you want and make it your own. For my blanket, I will be chaining up 200 plus 2 plus 3. This stitch is going to be worked in multiples of 4 plus 2 plus 3. For this tutorial, I'm going to chain up 40 plus 2 plus 3. I've already did my chain of 40. I'm going to start out with my gray. I'm going to add my plus 2, my 2, 1, 2. Now I'm going to add 3 for my turning chain. Now what we're going to do is remove this hook and get my 5.5 hook. We're going to wrap our yarn, and remember the loop on our hook does not count as a stitch. We're going to skip the first, second, and third chain, and we're going to go in the top of that 4th chain, and we're going to work a double crochet. And if you are a beginner crocheter, this chain 3 does count as a double crochet. Where you need to work back into can hide from you. So I recommend that you put a stitch marker in the top of that 3rd chain, so you know that you got to work into that stitch. And at the end of this row, I will have 43 double crochets. We're going to work 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way to the end. And I will meet y'all when I get to the end. So 1 double crochet in the top of every chain till you get here to your end. And I'll meet y'all at the end. Okay, so I made it to the end. I've worked my last double crochet. Now what we're going to do is chain 1 and cut your yarn and leave a tail long enough that you have enough to weave in and get it locked in good when you weave it. Pull that tight, and we're going to come back here where our stitch marker is at and start our next row. So for my next row is going to be this charcoal looking gray, which is actually called Stormy. And I'm going to remove my stitch marker, insert my hook through both of those bars on the top like that, lay my new yarn on the top of my hook and pull it through, route and make a slip stitch. Go right back into that very same stitch, and we're going to work a double crochet, and this is going to help keep our edges straight. Then we're simply going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way to the end, and you can weave over this end tail if you want to as you go along. Does not matter if we turn from one side to the next, we're still going to have ends to weave in because we're changing colors every row. So I'm going to continue working 1 double crochet in the top of every double crochet until I get to the end, and I will meet y'all when we get to the end. Okay, so I made it here to my very last double crochet. Now I wanted to share a little tip with y'all, because let me bring this other swatch in. So if you look right here, I crocheted into these underneath those 2 bumps right there, and you see right here it looks like we're going to be missing a stitch, but here everything is lined up perfect. See that? So what we're going to do is wrap our yarn around our hook, and you see these bars down here, right here. We're going to insert our hook through that space there, pull up a loop, route, pull through 2, and wrap and pull through 2. Chain 1 and cut your yarn and pull it. That is it, and see how it lines it up. Okay, now the next color that I am going to be bringing in is going to be this bright turquoise. Again, we're going to join here, so insert your hook in top of those 2 bars on the top of that double crochet, pull your yarn through, and this is just some scrap yarn that I had, and we're going to slip stitch, and we're going to wrap our yarn and go right back in there and work a double crochet. Now we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip the next stitch, and in that next stitch we're going to work a double crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, and double crochet into the next stitch, and this is row 3. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1, skip 1, and double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1, skip, double crochet into the next. Continue that till we get to the end, and I'll meet you when I get to the end. Okay, so I made it here to the end. I have 2 stitches left. I've chained 1. Now again, I'm not going to work through this part of that double crochet. I'm going to go right in that space, and I'm going to work my double crochet just like that. Chain 1 and cut my yarn, and that row is complete. Now it will look like it's going to come in on you, but trust me, it'll all straighten out. It'll all straighten up. Now the next color that I'm going to be using is purple. And row 4 is just going to be a double crochet row. And row 5 will also be a double crochet row. So we're going to introduce our new color. Slip stitch, route, insert, pull up a loop, route, pull through 2, route, pull through 2. Now we're going to be working 1 double crochet in every chain 1 space and in the top of every double crochet. So go in that first chain 1 space and work a double crochet. Go in that next double crochet and work a double crochet in the next chain 1 space, double crochet into the top of the next double. Repeat that until you get to the end, and I will meet you when we get to the end of the row. Okay, so I made it to the end. I've worked my double crochet in that last chain 1 space. Again, I'm going to wrap my yarn, and I'm going right in this space, just like that, pulling up a loop, route, pull through 2, route, pull through 2 to work my double crochet. Chain 1 and cut. Now the next color that I'm going to be using is ecru. Now for row 5 is a double crochet row as well. So insert your hook in the top of that double crochet. Bring your new color in, slip stitch, and go right back in that same stitch and work a double crochet. And then work 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way to the end. So go ahead and work 1 double crochet in the top of every double crochet until you get to the end, and I will meet y'all at the end of the row. Okay, I made it here to the end, and I am not going to work in that top part of that stitch right there. I'm going right in that space and work my double crochet. Chain 1 and cut my yarn. And see how my edges are staying nice and neat on both ends. Now we got this little curl here where we did our chain, turning chain, but that's okay. You won't be able to tell that once we put the border on. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my dark taupe color, which is my next color, and join with a slip stitch to the top of that first double crochet. Now in this one, we're going to work 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. This is our first row of our granny stitch row, granny cluster row. And we're going to do 5 rows of granny stitches. I think Veronica did 4 on hers, but we're going to do 5. Now what we're going to do, and this will be the repeat for this row, for row 6, we're going to skip 2, and in the next stitch work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Skip the next 2, and in that third stitch work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. You'll repeat that until you get to the end, and I'll meet y'all when we get to the end. Okay, so I made it to the end. I've worked my last 3 double crochets, and I have 3 stitches left. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to go right in this space and work 1 double crochet. And then we're going to go down here where we've been putting our double crochet and work our second double crochet. That way it's going to keep everything nice and straight. Then we're going to chain 1 and cut and pull our yarn out. Now the reason why I'm going to do 5 rows, I have 43 double crochets on my blanket, well, on my swatch. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 clusters of double crochets, 3 double crochets. So that is 39. 40, 41, 42, 43. So we need to end on this row right here, because it's important that your stitch count stays the same. Okay, I'm bringing my next color, which is going to be this mustard tweed color, which is Crafter Smart. And it has black flecks in there, so I'm pulling the mustard and the black all at the same time. We're going to join our new color at the top of this very first double crochet like we've been doing. Join with a slip stitch and double crochet into that very first stitch. Now we're going to go right into this space right here, and we're going to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to skip the next 3, and we're going to work 3 double crochets in that space in between the 2 clusters. And this will be our repeat. Skip the next 3 doubles, and in that space work 3 double crochets. Skip them 3, and in that space work 3 double crochets. Continue that all the way to the end, and when you get to the end, I will meet you at the end. Okay, I made it here to the end. I'm going to skip that next double crochet, and I'm going to go right here in the side and work my last double crochet. Chain 1 and cut my yarn. Pull my loop through. Now that completed row 7. For row 8, I'm going to bring in this fern green color. I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the top of that very first double crochet. Chain, slip stitch, wrap my yarn, and go right back into that very first stitch and work 2 double crochets, just like that. Now we're going to skip these next 3 and go right into that space and work 3 double crochets. Skip the next 3 and work 3 double crochets. Skip the next 3 and work 3 double crochets. Skip the next 3 and work 3 double crochets. Skip the next 3 and work 3 double crochets, and repeat that until you get to the end, and I will meet y'all when I get to the end of the row. Okay, I'm here at the end, and I've worked my last 3 double crochets. I'm going to skip these next 3, and I'm going to work 1 double crochet in the top of that double crochet like we normally would. Then I'm going to come down here and work my double crochet between that stitch so my edges stay nice and clean. Chain 1 and cut my tail. My next color is going to be this azure blue. So I'm going to join at the top of this double crochet right here with a slip stitch and work 1 double crochet. Now I'm going to skip the next double crochet, and in that space work 3 double crochets. and you're simply going to put 3 double crochets in every space between the clusters until you get to the end, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, so I've worked my last 3 double crochet cluster group, and now I'm going to skip the next double crochet and go in this little side of this stitch right here and work my double crochet. Chain 1 and cut my yarn. And my next color is going to be, I'm going to do this light taupe color since it's here on my desk. So I'm going to join here, just like I have joined every row, with a slip stitch, and work 1 double crochet in that same stitch, and work 1 more double crochet in that same stitch. And we're going to skip the next 3 and go into that next space and work 3 double crochets. And that's going to be your repeat all the way to the end. 3 double crochets in every space between each cluster. Each group of 3 double crochets. So continue working that until you get to the end, and I will meet y'all when I get to the end of the row. Okay, so I made it here to the end of the row. Again, we need to work 2 double crochets in this very last stitch. So we're going to go right here in the top of that double crochet and work 1 double crochet. Then we're going to go right here in the side of that double crochet and work 1 double crochet. Chain 1 and cut our yarn. Now that is our 10th row. We did 5 rows of double crochet, and we will have 43 stitches at the end of row 10. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times 3 is 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. Now we can move on to row 11. I'll bring this persimmon color in. It's pretty. It's not in none of the things, but it don't matter. I'm sure it's in one of the pictures of the calendar. Alright, so row 11 and row 11 is going to be a double crochet row. So what we're going to do is join our new color, just like we've been doing. Slip stitch, wrap your yarn, go into the top of that stitch, and work a double crochet. Now we're going to simply work 1 double crochet in the top of every double crochet. We're not working in the space in between. Just 1 double crochet in the top of every double crochet all the way to the end. And when you get to the end of row 11, you should have the same amount of double crochet rows that you started out with. I am in love with this blanket. I cannot wait to get further into it. Now this is going to be turned into a pillow to match my blankets. Now I am making 2 blankets. I'm doing one, which is, I'm going to show y'all another alternative of how you can make this blanket. So I'm making 2. I will be making one like this, and I will be making another one like I'm going to show y'all after we complete the full repetition of this one. and go into that side stitch and work a double crochet. Chain 1 and cut. And I just worked that whole row with y'all. Row 12 is going to be with my, what I am referring to as a contrast color. I do recommend that y'all get a contrast color for rows 12, 13, and 14. Because these are going to be your separation rows of the month. So we're going to add our white. And we're still joining with that slip stitch. Now this row is just a simple single crochet row. So we're going to go right back into that same stitch and work a single. Now we're going to work one single crochet in top of every double crochet until we get to the end. And I'll meet y'all at the end. Alright, so I made it here to the end. I'm gonna work my last single crochet just like I've been working those doubles. That way it keeps my edge nice and straight. We're going to cut our yarn, pull our tail, and that is our first row of single crochets. Okay, so for row 13, it's going to be a popcorn row. And these are the 3 rows that will differentiate between the months. So we're going to join just like we've been joining. Chain 1. Now we're going to work a double crochet in that first stitch. Now in this next stitch, we're going to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Pull up a loop, pull your hook out, count back 3, 1, 2, 3, insert into the top of that third double crochet where we counted, which is your first double crochet. Put your hook back on your loop and pull that through. Chain 1. Now we're going to skip the next one, and in the next one we'll work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Pull your loop up, come back to your first double crochet, insert your hook, put your loop back on your hook, tighten it up, and pull it through. Chain 1. We're going to skip the next one, and we're going to work 3 double crochets into the next stitch. Pull up a loop, insert into your very first double crochet, put your loop back on your hook, pull it through, and chain 1. And that is making your bobbles. And we're going to repeat that all the way to the end. Skip the next one, work 3 double crochets into the next stitch. 1, 2, and 3. Come back to your first double crochet, insert your hook in the top of that stitch, place your loop back on your hook, tighten it up, and pull it through, and chain 1. Continue doing that all the way to the end. Skip the next single crochet and work 3 double crochets into the next. Insert into that first double, put your loop back on your hook, tighten it up, and pull through, chain 1. Continue doing that all the way to the end, and I'll meet y'all when I get to the end. Okay, so I made it here to the end, and I have 3 stitches left. I've chained 1. I'm going to skip this next single crochet, and in this single crochet I'm going to work 3 doubles. 1, 2, and 3. Pull up my loop, inserting that first double crochet, chain 1, and I'm going to go in the side of this single crochet just like that and work my double crochet. Chain 1, and I'm going to cut my yarn. Pull my tail through and secure it. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. So if you do the popcorn or you do the baubles that Veronica did, when we look at your blanket, we'll know when we see the first row of baubles that anything below that are the colors from January. And anything going above it will be February, then March, and so forth. Now, when I do the alternative, another way that you can make this blanket, I'm going to do a different stitch here and show y'all. Because some people might not want to do the baubles. So, but we're fixing to finish this repeat. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is a 14 round repeat. Okay, so for row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Row 14 is going to be a single crochet row. And we should have 40, I should have 43 single crochets at the end of row 14. So I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going right back in that same stitch and work a single crochet. Now, remember we did not chain 1 at the beginning. We just worked into that very next stitch. We did not skip 1. So we're going 1, that's 1, this is 2. We're going in that space right here between, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I'm going to continue working down, and when I get to the end I should have 43 stitches. But I'm going to work this row with you to show you what we do at the end. Now this does complete the full repeat of what you're going to do for every month. So every month is 14 rounds. And we're going to measure this and see how many inches this is, and kind of give you an idea of how long your blanket would be if you, okay, so I'm here at the end. Now we worked in our chain 1 in our top of our bobble, but we didn't chain 1 here. So we're going right in the side of that double crochet, and we're working our single. And that will give me 43 single crochets. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 36, 38, 40, 41, 42, 43. I'm going to chain 1 and cut. So this is what you will do every single month. 2 rows of double crochet, window pane, 2 rows of double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of granny stitches, 1 double crochet row, 1 single crochet row, 1 popcorn row, and 1 single crochet row. Total of 14 rows. The alternative that I'm going to do will be in another video because I don't want this one to be extremely long. So what you would do on your next row is repeat row 1, then row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, and so forth. And then that would be your month of February. But I look forward to seeing the colors that y'all pick and seeing y'all's blankets. In the description of this video will be an email for you to send your pictures to. Please send the pictures to that email address. I will not be downloading any pictures off of Instagram or Facebook this year. Yeah, I'm asking that you please send them to that email so it'll be easier for me to keep up with them and have them all in one place. Okay, I've talked enough. Y'all ready to get to crocheting? Thank y'all so much. I cannot wait to see y'all's blankets. I am really, really excited about this year, y'all. We've got some fun stuff going on. I'm excited. I've been seeing people's color choices that they've been using and picking. Love it, y'all. And we'll talk about that in another video. Talk to y'all later. Thank y'all for watching. Bye-bye.